Here he comes again. Boris Johnson with the idea that hard work cures mental illness. It's absurd. It's frightening. It's very, very scary. Already the DWP are targeting the mentally ill, the seriously mentally ill, the sick, the disabled. And this buffoon comes up with some idea that if we all just get a job and work hard, all the mental illness is going to disappear. I'm disgusted.
You might want to ask yourself, what is frightening about a letterbox? Scary letterboxes can be, you know, just looking outside the door that this letterbox is in. So what's frightening about a letterbox? Are you frightened of letterboxes? Johnson likes letterboxes. Look, there's the mat on which the letters will land. But Johnson is a great fan of letterboxes. And perhaps in a minute we'll go on to talk about why. Johnson's off again. In the Telegraph, according to the Independent, where dear old Bojo writes his usual column. Let me begin this by mentioning last time Johnson was off about something. Letterboxes. Johnson had a thing about letterboxes, didn't he? Letterbox format, burkas, women looking like letterboxes. He's got a thing about letterboxes. Well, let me begin this video, I'll reveal all in a second, by saying I've got a thing about letterboxes too. I hate them. I hate them more from the inside than the outside. You must be thinking, what is he talking about? Is he completely cracked? Here is a man who hates letterboxes. I'm afraid of letterboxes. They scare me. They deeply scare me. I've told people this, including psychiatrists, how much letterboxes scare me. Our letterbox, by the way, is just beyond where I'm pointing. There's also a huge cat flap in the door as well. But I'll tell you why letterboxes scare me. Because letterboxes bring brown envelopes. And brown envelopes bring me a stage closer to what I'm talking about as a person who is mentally ill and as a carer for my wife, who is seriously mentally ill. You see, Johnson is saying that dear old Churchill, God bless him, when Black Dog attacked Churchill, do you know what Churchill did? Bozo, do you know what Churchill did? Well, he busied himself in work and fighting the poor and rapping with his signet ring on his chair in the bunker that you can still see in London. That's how Winnie dealt with Black Dog. And actually, it wasn't anything to do with the copious amounts of booze that dear Winnie, let's face it, he did rather like. Johnson is taking up again the old Arbeit macht frei metaphor. Work will make you free. My youngest son, whose birthday was yesterday, travelled to Poland, has been around Germany and been through Amsterdam this year. And when he was in Poland, they drove about 4 or 5 hours so that they could see Auschwitz. My son has some pictures from that he's going to go through with me. But remember, outside Auschwitz, that motto was there, wasn't it? Ian Duncan Smith. Duncan Smith visited Auschwitz, and he came back and told the whole of this country, Arbeit macht frei. Work makes freedom. And that's exactly what Johnson is saying. Johnson is saying, look, you're all a bit depressed, aren't you? if you focus on your work, if you focus on the job that you are doing, you'll feel so much better. Work cures depression. It does, doesn't it? Work cures depression. You ever been depressed, Boris? You ever felt suicidal? You ever woken up to a day where you didn't even want to take the covers off you because you didn't even want to open your eyes to see the light? You mean work's gonna cure that for me or my wife or millions of other people? Is that gonna cure that? In The Independent, a woman writes of her husband who, because of his work and associated factors, took his own life. A person who shouldn't have even been working, a person who was not fit to work, took his own life. We know, Boris, you buffoon, you blonde-haired bimbo, you vile, racist, Nazi type, we know damn well that you are out to murder the sick and the disabled. You're also out to paint us as scroungers. Oh, they just scrounge. They're just a bit lazy, aren't they? And they all just got off their bloody arses and did a good day's work. They wouldn't be so screwed up there, would they? And then we wouldn't be spaffing funds up the wall and then spaffing all those funds on mental health. We could spaff them on me. We could spaff them on my friends. We could spaff them on corporates and tax dodges. We could spaff all of our funds on that and we'd have a jolly good spaff together, wouldn't we? You evil little man. You horrible, evil little man. Whilst there is clearly some value to work as a means of focus in life, whilst there is clearly some value to any kind of activity in helping you maybe deal with changing your mood or not feeling depressed, we're talking about people who are seriously mentally ill. People who want to take their own lives. People who've been mentally ill since their 20s, like my wife. Be careful with this man, people. Be very, very careful with him. That's what it's leading towards. More. And he's got to come up with some way of not funding mental health services. The Tories say they're funding it. It's bollocks. It's an absolute lie. Our own mental health trust in Suffolk and Norfolk is practically being put back into special measures. It takes over a year to get an appointment with a psychiatrist. You're lying, Boris. You lying twat. Frightening. Truly frightening. We've got to do something. Corbyn in now. General election. Corbyn in. Spaffer Bojo. You make me sick.